Well, hello everyone. Another week has passed, so now an update on the Sling TSi Empennage kit build. So I now kind of sorted my issues with the inspector, and I've had the inspector been around. He's had a look at the shed and the kit and everything. So I'm about to close up the structures. So I started off with the horizontal stabilizer. As my workbench is not quite level, I've been using a laser to check the level, and it's once it was level, I started finishing up the rivets. It's just a lot of rivets to go through. I mean, other than that, it wasn't that bad. I'm thankful of having this rivet gun, the Stanley ProSet XT2. Obviously it sucks the mandrel into the rear cap, and it's such a easy tool, and the main thing with this tool is the nose piece of it is quite thin, so it can get into tight spaces to do the riveting. And this was my first finished part, the horizontal stabilizer fully done. Install the wires. This again with the laser self-leveling laser level to check to make sure it's flat, because my shed is probably not sitting on a completely flat ground. So on my workbench is fully flat, and whatever I'm putting on it should be the same. So yeah. So the horizontal stabilizer, I think this is the first piece that needs to be done before the elevator can be completed and fitted up to it, and then make sure that it aligns before you can finally rivet up the elevator. So yeah, a lot of the dimpled flush rivets, they look quite good, and I think the only issue I had was I had a problem with one of the dimpling. And this section here, one of the YouTube viewers asked me for how much work I do get done in an hour. So this is, I've condensed 30 minutes of work at 30 times the speed. So it's 1 minute. So this 1 minute is basically half an hour of work. When I was working on the elevator, the right side of the elevator. So it was mainly going, just clicking, riveting. Sometimes you have to drill out a few bits, but with the elevator it was quite good, the alignment of the holes, and didn't have to match drill hardly any. I think it's the match drilling is mostly for dimpled holes. You probably can see me using my aviation headset. I'm missing being up in the air now, and also and with the elevator there were some other things I had to take note of. I guess here some of the rivets, the 3.2 mm 3.2 by 8 mm rivets are too long for some sections, especially on the where the hinges are, and also at the rear end of the elevator. They're just too long, so you have to basically cut it short. You can also order the 6 mm rivets. There was some came in my kit, about 32 of them, but that's nowhere enough because the trim tab takes up quite a lot of them. So you need about 50 odd of the 6 mm rivets. So one of the other builders told me a technique of how to just cut it and make it happen. Just use the 8 mm rivets and make just shorten it to get to the 6 mm rivet. So yeah, here you knock out the mandrel from that end, separate the rivet head and the mandrel, and then basically chop off a little bit of the rivet itself. I mean, you can use a Dremel or something more sophisticated than a hacksaw, but it's as effective as anything else, I would say. And then you tidy up a little bit of that chop section. I used just a file to just tidy it up a little bit, and then you insert the mantle back again and knock it back in place. And I managed to do about 25 or 30, nearly 30 odd rivets like this. And yeah, by then I've kind of this is one of the first ones I did. So yeah, and this is the final elevator, all pretty much complete. I still haven't added the end pieces, the two end bits, the fiberglass bits. I've left it open so that the inspector can do the final inspection, and he can see all the rivets nice and clean. It's all dimpled and match drilled. The side bits, the counterweights have been added as well, so it probably will be an hour or so to finish this off. But everything's been done on the elevator. Other than that, the inspection panel's been done as well. The counterweights is the only thing that I still need to do, but I'm going to leave that for later, because I don't think that's it's not that of urgent task. Yeah, once the elevator was done, I started working on the vertical stabilizer. This was quite quick. It was previously ClickCode everything together, and it all matched fine. But yeah, a new thing to learn was how to do these riv nuts. They're quite interesting, and most of I think there's about 9 of them in a line. 7 of them have kind of overlapping layers of the spar or the angle brace, angle plate as they're called. So there is like dissimilar metal. So the riv nuts themselves are stainless steel, and and obviously you've got the aluminium spar. So I've been using this Duralac. You can get the yellow or the green Duralac in between. So while I was doing the installing the riv nuts, because I've heard that's a common issue where the riv nuts you get corrosion around the riv nuts. Yeah, and this is the final installation, all the 9 riv nuts. The bottom 2 I had to enlarge the holes to make sure that the spar is flush with that skin, and the other 7 I just enlarged the holes large enough so that the M4 bolts can go in, because I think these were originally designed for the M3. I've installed the wire for the rudder strobe light. I'm not installing a VR antenna, so it's only one wire for me. And you can see here the nylon edge protector on that last hole where the wire comes out. And that was pretty much the frame done. There are a few holes that in the manual it says you need to rivet, but it doesn't need to. You can leave. There needs to be the bolt goes on there later on in the build when you assemble that to the fuselage. And here you can see the vertical stabilizer, all once the skin was fully riveted. The riv nuts, the bottom 2, and there's a few further 2 on the side, either side. That's for the trim, the plastic trim or the fiberglass trim that when it goes on, or the fairing for that. I think it was about 5 hours in total to finish up the vertical stabilizer, so it was pretty quick. It's just, all these rivets, a lot of them were the dimpled ones, but it came along quite well. So happy with the progress on the vertical stabilizer. And I think the only bit left on the Empennage kit is the rudder. Just need to finish up that, and I can then start prepping my wings. And the skies have opened up, and there was the noise of a flexing microlight up in the air. So hopefully things are going to get better soon.